national voice across the country. This is RightLine with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Let's face it, retirement has gotten more complicated, taxes go up, markets swing, and most people are just guessing their way through it. But you don't have to. Certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend has been helping families right here in Southwest Florida for over 40 years retire with confidence, not guesswork. He even wrote a book called Making Waves in Retirement, and he wants to send you a copy absolutely free. So look, it's about retiring with confidence and peace of mind. All you need to do right now is pick up your phone and text the word book to 239-579-9992. That's book to 239-579-9992. Look, don't wait. Text the word book to 239-579-9992 right now.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. Fighting for all veterans. Making sure they get the benefits and care they've earned. Rebuilding communities after disaster strikes. And adapting to support today's veterans. Meeting them where they are. The VFW. Still leading. Still advancing. Still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
I can trace family members who served from World War I to today, each one helping shape who I am. My family chose to share their stories with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Voices, letters, and memories that bring their service to life. Searching for their stories was easy. You can discover powerful stories too, told through the voices of America's veterans. Explore, remember, and share at loc.gov/vets.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
The other day, a man called saying my electric was way past due. He threatened to turn off my power if I didn't buy a gift card to pay the bill. I said, look, fella, I wasn't born yesterday. Gift cards are for gifts, not for paying bills, and I'm sure as heck not buying you a gift. So I hung up on the crook, and my lights never went out. Know the signs of scams and leave scammers in the dust. If someone asks for a gift card as payment, it's likely a scam. A public service message from the Better Business Bureau.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or are covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
This is RightLine with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on RightLine across the country. We appreciate you hanging out with us today on a very busy weekend. We've got, Big D's not here today. He's on vacation this week. The newsroom is here. Nina's in the breaking newsroom, so we're watching all the breaking news. Anything that goes on over the weekend, we've got it for you here. You'll get the heads up before you wake up on Monday and you say, hey, I wish I had the heads up on that. We don't have to say that anymore because we're here. If you want to watch at RightLine News on YouTube and X. Scheduled to join us in just a couple of more minutes is Colonel Rob Maness. We're going to talk a little bit about the latest with Iran. And also, he's got a book, What You Can Do About It, Taking Real Action Against Corruption, Radicalism, and Moral Decay to Save America. And oh boy, we got some of that going on. We're going to get to in just a second. And also, Friday night was the White House Correspondents' Dinner makeup dinner, because the last one, we remember what happened there. And so the president and the Corps were all there, and wow. We got the audio clips to play for you. The president of the United States, who, let's just put it this way. He just does his thing and doesn't care who's there and doesn't care who cares. It was some night. So we're going to have some clips for you coming up in just a minute. But first, why don't we get to this? You know, you got to worry when you have a Congress that has it so sweet that they take all of these recesses, vacations. You know, they're just living the life. Some of them are living the life better than others.
Bowl of doggy doo.
I'm thinking you've got a pretty good life there. In a lot of different ways. I keep thinking of the ice cream in the freezer and that's talking about Nancy Pelosi. But anyway, so we've got Congress that's going to be out of town for the August recess. Is that right?
The House is gone, but the campaign is on.
We're going to have a lot to talk about during this break. The contrast on the ballot this November between communism and freedom.
School is out for the summer in the House, but Republicans are trying to educate voters how Democratic candidates are leaning to the left.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. So it's summer school. The GOP is going to now take the time during this recess that is coming up soon. You know, we would like to get the Save America Act in before recess starts. Can we do that? I know we got a crunched up amount of time to get this thing done, but can we try to do our best to get that done? And so they're going to spend the summer letting people know everything we've been talking about when it comes to communism, Marxism, socialism, Democrats.
The reality is that the Communist Caucus, the Commie Caucus, is coming to Congress.
To cling to their narrow majority, Republicans hope to distinguish themselves from Democrats.
Yeah, let me just stop for just a second. It's really easy to distinguish yourself from a Democrat these days. It's really simple. We're not the ones that want to destroy the Constitution and the country and the rule of law. That's it. It's pretty simple. You've got one of two choices. That's what it is. And it's a little deeper than that.
They have to answer for why they voted against funding our troops, against funding the government, against common sense policies like voter ID and proof of citizenship.
Yeah, well, we all know the answer to that. So there you have the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, among others who are talking about, look, what are we going to do now? We've got recess. You've got only days until senators are going to be out of town. We know the House is gone. And it's probably not enough time to get the Save America Act in bits and pieces to take full effect for the midterms. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Maybe. I mean, maybe you're thinking dinner. But other than that, you may also be thinking, why can't we get this done? It's a really bad look for Republicans. I'll say it. I don't mind saying it. It's a bad look for Republicans when you can't get this done. And I said this, I think, last week. And if I didn't say it last week, I probably said it during the week. By the way, we have a weekday show, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. We're syndicated across the state of Florida, not just on the weekends where we are national. But you've got so many people who have looked at this story and said, in 2024, you had a lot of people coming off the sidelines, getting into the game. They saw President Trump. They saw him coming back. They knew what we've had to deal with for the past 4 years with that guy. And we had enough of it. And so they came in, independents, young people, everybody. And then now you have this where you have something that obviously the American people want. We're not just talking about Republicans. We're talking about everybody. I'm not telling you something you don't already know. That everybody wants this voter identification. Hey, can we see if you're a citizen of the United States before you vote? And there are some that are like, nah, we don't have to do that. Those are the people we don't want to vote for. But we can't even get Republicans to get that across the finish line when you already have the House and the Senate. That bothers me. I'm just going to say it. And it bothers me because the problem becomes trying to convince people once again that a lot is at stake. And it is. And you need to get off the sidelines and in the game. So, not only are we dealing... So what are we dealing with exactly? Maybe we should talk about this for a second before we bring in Colonel Rob Maness in just a minute. But let's talk about what we have going on. We just found out this weekend, this very morning, about Biden's final days in office. And oh boy, how about this one?
They revealed plans that could have expanded temporary protected status to more than 3 million non-citizens. In the memo, the Biden administration acknowledged that previous court challenges blocked President Trump's effort to end those protections.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, all right, really cool music in the background, but I don't really get what they were saying there in the report. Well, let me explain to you what was going on. We found out that a memo just came out that in Joe Biden's final days, a president who probably didn't even know what was going on at the time while this was happening, just ask him. You know it. So they planned to expand temporary protective status to 3 million, over 3 million non-citizens, with the specific reasoning to block the president's deportations and make sure that for the next 4 years, good luck trying to get it done, because we're going to sue you into oblivion. We're going to have radical judges that are going to help us with this. And that was going on. Could be one of the biggest scandals that's been out there in the past, 50 years. The problem is we've had Democrats doing a lot of things that have been the biggest scandals for the past 50 years. The Trump-Russia collusion hoax. And
every time I think about Trump, I get allergic.
Don't I know it? Hey, how about, are we going to get you perp walked anytime soon? I'm just saying that when you think about Hillary Clinton and you're like, really? After everything that we know about Hillary, you're still out there on the streets. Kind of thing. So, yeah, we've got that to deal with as well. But understand what it is we're dealing with in the big picture. You've got a former president who probably didn't know what was going on at the time, planning to expand temporary protective status to over 3 million non-citizens because they wanted to gum up the works with the deportation efforts of this president. You've got a recess now that is coming up soon with senators that it looks like we're not going to get the Save America Act passed. And on top of that, how about one more thing that we might want to just mention quickly? We just come to find out a few minutes ago that there is a program now that the governor of the state of Minnesota, Tim Walz, is backing, that's going to make transgender dolls with removable and swappable parts. Yeah, those parts. It's a family show. You know what I'm talking about. Those parts. Available to kids, children, little children, 4 to 10 years old in the state of Minnesota. Do you see the depravity that we are trying to fight against this midterm cycle, but it's forever now. As long as the left exists, this is what we're going to have going on. It's that simple. So we've got to deal with this. But in the meantime, let's talk about a couple of other things that are going on first, if you don't mind. Joining us right now is Colonel Rob Maness. We are so happy to have him once again on the program. I do want to talk about his latest book, among other things. First of all, sir, it is great to have you on the program once again. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing, man?
I'll tell you, it's sometimes it gets frustrating, Colonel. If I need to be honest with you, sometimes you know how things get. But before we get into some of the news of the day, I do want to ask you about your thoughts on Iran and some other issues. But before we get to that, I do want to ask you about this: the book, what you can do about it, taking real action against corruption, radicalism, and moral decay to save America. I just brought up some of what I believe is the moral decay that we're seeing. And you're hearing that out of Democrats and some of the things that they are presenting to the American people and have all different, but all of those right in a row: the corruption, the radicalism, the moral decay. And so what can we do about it? What do we do about it? Talk about the book.
Well, it starts with the individual. We wrote the book and the title is a turn of phrase on the question that I've gotten the most often from citizens or my troops when I was talking to them about issues, and that is, they always ask, what can I do about it? Because that's in Americans' DNA, that we believe that the individual is the starting point to do anything. Get anything done in this country that's meaningful. And the issues you talked about, like Minnesota and Governor Walz and the crazy swapping body parts, dolls, pushing the transgender ideology, which is encased in a derivative of Marxist critical theory right out of the Frankfurt School, which was started out named as the Institute of Marxism.
Yeah,
folks. That type of corruption and moral decay, doing anything about it starts right at the parent level and the citizen on the ground level, going to council meetings, going to school board meetings, running for city council, running for school board, being active in your county government. Those all start right there. It's because we have failed to act by and large over the last 40 years at that level and to recognize what is happening, that this top-down push from the federal through the state governments have been allowed to get embedded into places like our school system. So the book is intended to talk about, from my perspective and people that I've met and organizations I've worked with, that I founded, things that I did in the military, things that I learned growing up in West Tennessee with my aunts and uncles, my mom and dad, and around the world. My dad was in the Air Force too, so I've traveled most of my life, including in my 30-plus years in the Air Force. But my origins come right out of West Tennessee, and the book is designed to tell that story, but also highlight what I learned about answering that question. What can I do about it?
Yeah.
So the title of the book is what you can do about it. Here's a way of thinking that I learned over time of how to organize, how to raise resources, and how to take action. And it starts with you.
Colonel Rob Maness is joining us here on RightLine. We appreciate a few minutes of his time today. Yeah, the one thing, too, I think more than anything that we've all noticed, and we would love to have a book like this, like a guide, like what do we do? But before, it was so covert before, and now it's so overtly just in your face what they're trying to do. And so that, I think, in a way helps us, because now the people like you and I, and those that have said in the past, they're doing this. And people are like, nah, we don't have any proof. Give me an example. And sometimes you couldn't do it, right? Now they're handing it to us. They're showing us exactly how radical they are, how corrupt they are, and how, when it comes to the moral decay of this country, it's part of how you bring it down. It's part of how you bring any country down. You can talk about this country or any place else across the globe.
Absolutely. This particular issue, the critical theory issue, whether it's critical race theory or transgender theory and ideology, it doesn't matter. That particular theory is designed to fracture and destroy a society, a civil society like ours, that is built on unity but not because of our diversity, so-called. That's not the strength of it. The strength of it is the unity around the idea of freedom, and that, you know, we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. The unity around those ideas, in spite of our differences, is what we are celebrating. And this theory is designed to destroy that. You see it happening in real time in places like Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Los Angeles, California, and New York City, and New Jersey, and Georgia. And all of these places where you see this has been implemented for years and years and years, and part of its eloquence of its strategy is it is in your face so much that for a long time, up until very recently, American citizens did exactly what you just said. No, it's not really happening. I don't believe my eyes, and they use that strategy to tell you, don't believe your lying eyes. What you see happening isn't really happening. And unfortunately, with Marxism, if you go back and study the Bolshevik Revolution that created the Soviet Union and caused all those millions of deaths over years and years, and then the Maoist Revolution in China that killed 100 million people, for goodness sake, when you study those, you see that it's very small numbers of people that go in initially very subtly and nuanced, and before the population knows it, they're being shot up against the walls in their foreheads.
Right. Yeah. You know, the one thing I've been talking to people about lately is the fact that if you look at history, you see how things have pivoted so much from revolution that was going to be at the barrel of a gun, and then finding out that the population doesn't have your back. They don't believe in your revolution, and so it doesn't work out. But if you are to train them, if you are to indoctrinate them, if you get them to believe the population that what you are saying is legitimate and is good and will be helpful to them, then if you start a quote unquote revolution, whether it's by the barrel of a gun or not, that revolution could succeed because you have enough people who believe it. And that's, I think, exactly where we are. And that's my biggest concern, especially when you have a Democrat Party who's been so overtly showing exactly who they are. And so that's always been my concern. Colonel Rob Maness is joining us here on RightLine. What you can do about it, taking real action against corruption, radicalism, and moral decay to save America. That is his book. And before we go, I do want to ask you this, sir, if you don't mind. I'd love to get your thoughts on Iran and what is happening lately. You know, this weekend is the first day and first weekend out of the past 13 days where we haven't struck the country there of Iran. And so the president now looking and thinking, all right, what do we do next? Obviously, the thinking has been up to this point negotiating. It doesn't appear as if that's where we should be going. It might be a pivot in a different direction. What do you think should be the next move here by the United States?
Well, I gotta be honest with you. You know, when a country makes a decision to go into war like we have here, and look, you know, I started wearing the uniform when this war was declared on us by the Iranians, and the Iranians that are in charge of that country are the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. The mullahs are just the front. It's really the IRGC, and they're lunatics. They're lunatics. They're thieves. They're liars. They have no honor. And they have an ideology that leads to nothing but death and destruction, not just their own, but they want everybody else to do that, and they're fanatical about it. So you have to start from that point. And when you make a decision to go into a war like this, you know, those of us that have spent our lives fighting these endless war policies and are totally opposed to them, quite frankly, most veterans that have combat time that have had to do this stuff are totally opposed to these endless war policies. If we're going to go into a war, we want it to be vicious, we want it to be crushing, and we want to vanquish the enemy and get them to either surrender and acquiesce to what we want, or in this case, have the population rise up and take the government out. We don't want to get into any endless ground wars, no endless warfare at all. We want it to be finished. And quite frankly, this war has not gone on that long. It's gone on longer than I would personally like it to, but from a complex problem that the Iranian geography and target set presents, and it's been being built for 50 years now. It's a tough challenge, and the United States is the only military in the world capable of meeting the challenge. So that's where we're at. And I appreciate the president. He wants to end this 47-year war on America, and I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
But we're in it. We're in it, and we need to be in it and win the thing. And these people have to be gone from governing that country. As you can see, they fire missiles even at people that have been their friends over the years. Qatar has taken all kinds of missiles, and they actually have been trying to help them for the 50 years and those kind of things. And they will fire missiles anywhere at any time if they think that it meets their goal. And their goal is to bring about the destruction of the world so that they can control everything. And we're just not going to let that happen, So I appreciate the president trying to give diplomacy an opportunity so that we don't have to destroy every piece of infrastructure in that country, because there's 90 million plus Iranians, and then about 80% of them don't support this government, from what I understand.
Yeah.
But you also have to go into this clear-eyed, and I think the president has done that. And I would hope that he continues this until the IRGC leadership is decimated so much that they eventually will acquiesce, or the population of Iran is able to, because they're weakened so much, the population of Iran is able to retake their government after almost 50 years and create a peaceful Iran that's a good trading partner, that's a friend to its neighbors, and doesn't want to spread death and destruction through their proxies and their weapons throughout the world.
Yeah, and I will say this before we go, that you've got to appreciate the president of the United States, who also understands that, look, when it comes to the midterms or elections or what people think or popularity of this, he sees the big picture. And if you see the big picture and you're looking at this as a big picture issue and something that needs to stop and nobody else would stand in the gap, and he has decided to do it, then you can appreciate what needs to be done in somebody who wants to get it done the right way and make sure that we get this completely over with, so that we don't have to deal with this for another 47 plus years. So I can appreciate that side of it as well. All right, Colonel.
Absolutely. And if you're thinking of voting for the other side in the midterms, why are you going to vote for communists that want to destroy America?
Yes, no, sir. I'm sure. Listen, sir, I am positive.
Not you, but
well, I was going to say,
you, your audience.
I was going to say, I'm positive that AOC, when she's president, would be more than happy to step in that gap, and says nobody ever. All right, there's the music. We got to jump. All right, Colonel. All the best. God bless.
Thanks,
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, Colonel Rob Mattis joining us here on RightLine. We appreciate a few minutes of his time. We will be back. Let's take a break.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
A lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops builds specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free, thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. And I never had much stuff because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go?
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a forever family and a permanent home of their own.
Now I have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing and make videos. But the best part? Knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team designed personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to RightLine with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to check out the program at RightLine News on YouTube and X, we appreciate it. And don't forget, we've got a weekday show, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. We do that Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. You can check that out at FL, like Florida, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram, and on great radio stations across the state. We appreciate you checking us out here this weekend. All right, top of the news from the RightLine newsroom.
Top of the news. National headlines. Now.
All right, a couple of things that they're working on today in the RightLine newsroom. Let's see. Michelle Vesarina's got the latest for us. What's up? She there? What's up?
Hey there, Drew.
Hey.
In Washington, President Trump touting the rapid adoption of his administration's Ratepayer Protection Pledge, aiming to shield everyday Americans from surging electricity bills as artificial intelligence data centers expand across the country. Speaking at the White House alongside tech executives and state leaders, Trump announced that over 220 utilities and tech giants have signed on, covering roughly 80% of the U.S. power grid. The pledge insists that big tech companies pay the full freight for new energy infrastructure rather than passing those costs onto residential consumers. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry and Georgia Governor Brian Kemp joined the president praising the initiative for protecting families while keeping America dominant in AI technology. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio delivering a forceful defense of U.S. military action against Iran during meetings in Manila. Rubio declared President Trump's policy for Iran.
This is woke news today.
As American military strikes continue in order to keep the Strait of Hormuz open to shipping. Rubio warned Iranian leaders they will continue paying a heavy price while also ripping into the International Criminal Court. The secretary called ICC officials lunatics and crazies for suggesting U.S. personnel could face charges, asserting the court has zero jurisdiction over Americans. Senator Ashley Moody introducing the Staged Accident Fraud Prevention Act to combat dangerous truck crash scams. The bill would make intentionally staging collisions with commercial trucks and buses a federal crime, cracking down on the con artists, crooked personal injury attorneys, and doctors who orchestrate the crashes for quick payouts. A scheme that endangers drivers and drives up insurance premiums nationwide. Okay, that's a look at your news headlines around the nation for RightLine News. I'm Michelle Vesarina. Drew, let's toss it right back over to you.
All right, Michelle, we appreciate you there in the RightLine newsroom. Anytime you want to check out the stories they are working on, you can go to rightlinenews.com. That's the website. All right, the President of the United States, among others, at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Friday night, and it was something else in so many different ways. So what I'm about to play for you are these selected clips, and there are a ton of them out there from this evening that took place, which was for the president and for those that love when the president is just honest and his opinions and his thoughts on people. Spectacular and hilarious. Some of the look, here's the thing. I'll play a bunch of the clips coming up, but just know this ahead of time. Here's the lead. Some of the jokes fell flat. Some of it were like, he didn't really give it to, he's like not a comedian. He just kind of didn't have the chops there. Some of them were just amazing. But at the end of the day, the respect for everyone in the room, even though they were doing things in the room that were, let's just say, in some ways disrespectful. We're going to get to that in just a second. But first, let's do this. Know that the first thing that you see when you were watching the White House Correspondents' Dinner was the title of what it is. It's celebrating the First Amendment, which is hysterical. So I just want to get this straight. The White House Correspondents there want to celebrate the First Amendment, while many of them that were there in the audience were part of the legacy fake news. Fake news. You betcha. The media outlets that didn't even want to allow for the president to be on their airwaves. his speech the other day about what was going on with China in the 2020 election. But, we love the First Amendment. When you say things that we like, and if you say something that we don't like, or we don't like where you're going to be going with it, then we'll just make sure that your First Amendment, we just shut it right down. Is that how that works? Pretty ironic. Fun stuff. All right, so it started off in obviously describing what took place the last time they were together and recognizing one person who at that time did an amazing job of helping the chaos that was in the room at the White House Correspondents' Dinner the last time they were together.
One officer placed himself directly in harm's way and engaged the armed suspect. Even after gunfire struck his protective vest, he stayed in the fight, and the attacker was stopped. I know many of us have wondered, what if he hadn't acted in that exact way? What if he had waited a few more seconds? His courage that night reflects the core values of the Secret Service: duty, justice, courage, honesty, and loyalty, and as a commitment to safeguarding his country and community. They also shaped his career, first as Sir Victor Gonzalez of the United States Secret Service.
And so they honored him and the President of the United States getting up and thanking him for his service and what he did that very evening. And so a special moment there at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Friday nights. And then the festivities began. And let's just put it this way. It started with a couple of different things let me go to that first. Yeah, I'm switching around. I know I'm talking to the newsroom now. I'm switching around the order on this because I do want people to understand something that they did to him, the President of the United States. Now, remember, he's in the room, okay? The president is there. He's in the room. He's on the dais. There's Wolf Blitzer, who comes along, who is going to now present an award. The journalists winning an award for work in the field. What work did they do that they earned such a distinct honor with the president sitting right there? Get this.
Courageous reporting on President Trump's past relationship with financier Jeffrey Epstein triggered the release of the so-called Epstein files.
Wait, are you hold on a second. Are you telling me right now, Wolf Blitzer, that what you're going to do is you're going to announce an award for how some journalists went after the President of the United States and his quote-unquote connections with Jeffrey Epstein? Like, this is... Are you serious right now?
Thousands of documents that might otherwise have remained hidden from the public. And despite the president's threat of a lawsuit, the Journal published a story about a provocative letter to Epstein bearing President Trump's signature. Trump quickly filed a $20 billion lawsuit against the Journal, revealing reporter Khadija Safdar's home address.
There's the President of the United States, who's like, yeah, I sure did. That's right. Just smiling. And remember, Wolf Blitzer is like, he's arm distance away. Like, literally, the President of the United States could shove him if he wanted to. That's how close he is as this is going on the stage.
Emily had to be relocated. The Journal was kicked off of Air Force One, but the reporters continue to file revelatory stories. Please welcome the winners of the Katharine Graham Award from the Wall Street Journal.
Okay, so there they go. They make their way to the stage. Here they are, the winners. Now, mind you, you can't tell me that this wasn't to try to humiliate the President of the United States while he's sitting there. I'm sorry. It's just that happened to be the award that they were giving out, and these are the journalists, and that was the best that they have done all year long. Really? You sure about that? And so they come out to accept the award, and, you know, the Wolf Blitzer says a couple of other things, and they're shaking hands. Now, here's the best part. If you're watching at RightLine News on YouTube and X, you'll see this. If you're not, if you're driving in your car, or you're just hanging out at the beach, or you're doing whatever it is that you're doing across the United States right now, let me describe what's happening. The President of the United States gets up and shakes their hands. Like, hey, great job. Did a great job. Yeah, fantastic. You did a great job. Smiling. He's like, what are you going to do? I guess I have to say congratulations on winning this award where you wrote about me and Jeffrey Epstein, and this is so really, It's not awkward. Look at this. It's awkward for them. And you can tell some of them are just like, yeah, we don't like you at all. And some of them are like, all right, anyway, I just wanted to play that. Just because, do you see, this is the dishonest press. This is what they do. You know, the same press that loves the First Amendment. When you say things that you like, and then when you're going to say something that you don't like, then they're like, hey, can you make sure that that speech about China in the 2020 election and all the millions of people, hundreds of millions of people whose identity were taken, and how the deep state there and the intelligence community kept it from the president of the United States. Hey, can we not do anything about that? Like, let's not even put that on. Yeah, we'll take that away. You know, his speech and such. So after all is said and done, and you see that, President of the United States has a couple of minutes to talk about the press, among other things. Why don't we go to a little bit of the funny? It was a lot of funny, and there was a lot of uncomfortable. How about this line?
But after hearing the gunshots, many people yelled, get down, which caused Nicki Minaj to start twerking. Do you believe it? Get down. She's the only one that really understood what that meant.
Oh boy. All right. So you're thinking, okay, so it was kind of tame, right? So those are the kind of jokes that, yeah, no, not so much. So how about this one? This was kind of tame. This wasn't bad at all, I didn't think. But I don't know, there were probably some people out there that were uncomfortable.
Just remember, before I came along, if you wanted to see someone lose consciousness on the South Lawn of the White House, all you had to do is ask Joe Biden a question. Remember that? Oh, you think I'm kidding?
Oh, you think I'm kidding? I'm sorry. So that's funny. But then how about this one before we take a break? I'm looking at the time and I just want to make sure, because these three that I'm playing for you right now are the tamest. Wait till you hear what's coming. And we'll have more of it in just a little bit. But here's the president talking about the room filled with TDS.
But this place is really the largest group of Trump derangement syndrome people ever put together at one time, I suspect. But some of you are lucky that our last dinner was cut short because I had brought with me what would possibly have been, I'm telling you, I had something. I was going to go after you. I feel so badly doing this. It's got to be such a letdown. Oh, yay.
Yay. So, yeah, the president had some thoughts on where he was going to go the last White House Correspondents' Dinner. Didn't have the chance to do it. But let's just put it this way. In a few more minutes, when we come back, there's more. And he did go there with some in the press, but many Democrats. And oh, my. I'm sure that there are people that will be talking about this all weekend long, and know that, of course, we're live this weekend. We're always live. 4 to 6 p.m. on Saturdays is when we are live. So make sure you tell your friends, let everybody know that we're live, and know that when you have news that breaks over the weekend, we'll have it for you. We're keeping an eye on all the stories that are out there. Plus, when you have Friday night things going on, like the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you're going to get these clips before anybody else. So when we come back, we'll have more of that. And it got also on the way. This was kind of a big deal. Just found out about this a little while ago. The corruption of one of the people that we were told for the longest time was the expert and the most respected person because
I represent science.
Because he represented science, Dr. Anthony Fauci, in the news today. And wow, as some people have said, the corruption here is outrageous, off the charts. I can't come up with any other big words, although those weren't really big words. But if I figure out some big words, I'll come back with some big words. But yeah, wait till you hear what Rand Paul exposed about the Fauci. Let's take a break. It's RightLine.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because Medishare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Well, I just wanted to say hey to everybody who's watching, streaming us live right now this weekend at RightLine News on YouTube and X. We appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. And we're in a radio commercial break right now. So we'll be back in just a couple of more minutes live. And when we come back, we've got this news on Dr. Anthony Fauci. He's finally going to be forced to answer questions under oath for his role in the COVID pandemic and its disastrous consequences. This was discussed by Senator Rand Paul. We're going to get to some of that. More from the White House Correspondents' Dinner. That was stellar. And the clips of the President of the United States, who was not going to pull any punches, was not going to mess around. And what did you expect? It was pretty awesome. So we've got some of that coming up. And then there are some other stories that we've been watching as well. A little more fraud, a little more crazy from the Democrats, and some polls that have suggested that some people are leading the Democrat Party that we just have to laugh about. But yeah, we're going to have that and their thoughts. By the way, in case you're wondering, AOC and Pete Buttigieg are neck and neck for the nomination, I guess, apparently, in 2028 on the Democrat side. So do you see why there's so many people that are concerned about the elections in the future? And I'm not saying that Democrats have a chance to have an AOC as president of the United States because they cheat. But the reason why Democrats have a shot with AOC as the president of the United States in 2028 is because they cheat. Yeah, I just said it again. So, all right, let's get back to commercials and just stick around. It's just another minute or two. And we'll be back from the radio commercial break in just a second.
Safe, permanent homes for the longest waiting children in foster care.
I not only love these kids, I am just so proud of them.
You can help. Visit DaveThomasFoundation.org.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little you are, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Bella, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on J&C Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? You're looking for countertops, backsplash? You know where to go. Rock Solid, J&C Boulevard in Naples.
Now, back to Right Line with Drew Steele.
We talking about an empty parking lot
with no civilians, full of concrete. And I don't think I've ever seen a parking lot be set on fire with lighter fluid. So basically, we spoke with the security at the mall as well. We explained to him that we was going to have the fire flame photo shoot. He told us basically just be out before the mall closed. You can't show me a baby spider monkey whose spinal cord don't show through their back because they're born that way.
What just happened? Wait. Whoa, wait a second. Hold on. Okay. So that's Vernon. Vernon and I guess his friend Jaden were arrested in Baltimore. Why, you might ask? Because they decided that they were going to do a photo shoot in a mall parking garage featuring women holding exotic animals standing in a ring of fire. And that was Vernon explaining about the animals. There was a baby spider monkey and a snake and a tarantula, and there was a ring of fire going on in the mall. And I think the funny part is that Vernon decided that the person he was going to ask whether or not it was okay was the mall cop. Because everybody knows the mall cop is like, he's the one who controls everything, and he is really about the safety and security of those. And he was just like, hey, listen, as long as you do this before anybody shows up, I don't know anything. Is that how that went? I don't know. I don't know the details. All I know is that little bit was enough for me. So somebody named Vernon and Jaden decided to do a photo shoot at the mall garage and make a ring of fire and have exotic animals there as well. And nobody was there. So is there a problem, officer? I don't know. I just thought it was funny. Strange and odd. Anyway, all right. Speaking of strange and odd, some may say that when COVID was going on, there were a lot of strange, odd things happening, like men of science that we all have to trust because somebody told us we had to trust them, told us that we had to double and triple mask and do all kinds of things, and the jab and the like, and the concerns about some people that got a little carried away. And
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines.
Yeah, that guy did that. Okay, what? Oh, all right, I said guy. What?
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
All right, I don't know. The person did it. Okay, but the point is that it got a little carried away. It really did. And some things happened to the world that we're all very concerned about. And Rand Paul is not messing around. He's been concerned for a while. And he was on Maha Action, I guess, just the other day. And he was talking about, look.
On July 29th, next week at 8:30, Anthony Fauci will testify under oath before my committee under subpoena. The hearing matters. But it will only cover one piece of what's laid out here. Americans don't need to wait for a hearing to see it for themselves. You can read all of this and more at my new website, The Reading Room, at paul.senate.gov/reading room.
And some people decided to go to the reading room and see exactly what the senator found out about Dr. Anthony Fauci. And it is off the charts, as we talked about a little earlier. So I just want to get this straight. So Rand Paul released this information and emails showing that the Fauci was soliciting various scientists, so-called, the scientists, to nominate him for awards. Like he was reaching out to them and saying, hey, you should vote for me because I want to get this award. And many of them, he actually did end up winning. And he got all kinds of prize money in the process. That seems like a problem. Can we talk about the problem? We need to talk about the problem. Can we get this investigated? Can we find out more? I guess next week, July 29th, which is carry the 6th. I think that's Wednesday. I'm not sure. I just said that and I don't even know. Might or might not be. But I guess maybe then we'll find out more about this when the Fauci is on Capitol Hill. That is going to be some audio. Woo! Speaking of some audio, woo! More from the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Friday night, in case you didn't get a chance to watch it because you have a life. And, maybe you saw bits and pieces. We're going to play bits and pieces of it because the president was stellar. He was on, as the kids say, fire. So we'll play some of that coming up here on RightLine.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. So check before you jet. Avoid delays at TSA security checkpoints by making sure you have an acceptable form of ID. That means a real ID, passport, or other acceptable forms of identification.
Visit tsa.gov/ID to check the full list of acceptable IDs. Avoid travel delays by checking ID requirements, and you're good to go.
RightLine with Drew Steele. Your national voice across the country. This is RightLine with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Let's face it, retirement has gotten more complicated, taxes go up, markets swing, and most people are just guessing their way through it. But you don't have to. Certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend has been helping families right here in Southwest Florida for over 40 years retire with confidence, not guesswork. He even wrote a book called Making Waves in Retirement, and he wants to send you a copy absolutely free. So look, it's about retiring with confidence and peace of mind. All you need to do right now is pick up your phone and text the word book to 239-579-9992. That's book to 239-579-9992. Look, don't wait. Text the word book to 239-579-9992 right now.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. Fighting for all veterans. Making sure they get the benefits and care they've earned. Rebuilding communities after disaster strikes. And adapting to support today's veterans. Meeting them where they are. The VFW. Still leading. Still advancing. Still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
I can trace family members who served from World War I to today, each one helping shape who I am. My family chose to share their stories with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Voices, letters, and memories that bring their service to life. Searching for their stories was easy. You can discover powerful stories too, told through the voices of America's veterans. Explore, remember, and share at loc.gov/vets.
Hey, everybody, just wanted to say good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching, whenever you're listening here at RightLine News on YouTube and X. It's Drew Steele. We're in a radio commercial break, so I just wanted to say what's up. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for hanging out with us. You know that we are here for you live every weekend so that we can bring you all the breaking news. If there's anything that's going on over the weekend, we'll have it for you. We're keeping an eye on all different kinds of stories coming up. So we'll have that for you, plus some of the funnier fun things like the President of the United States and the White House correspondence dinner that took place. Wow, do we have some audio on that coming up in just a bit, plus the latest on some polling with Democrats, also the latest on what we found out from Catherine Harridge, in case you missed it from the end of the week, about the 2020 election and some of what was going on, not only against the President of the United States and some of what was happening with China and the latest with the issues and the 2020 election and identity stolen and the like, but also some of the latest from the Biden administration and what they were doing, and just unbelievable some of the information we found out about the possibility of blackmail going on against China. Against the Biden family. They were being blackmailed by China. So yeah, that and more coming up. So hope you'll stick around with us here. We've got a lot coming up. Just got a couple of more minutes of radio commercial intermission. Did I just say? I just did. Okay, it's radio intermission, everybody. Like, what? Yeah, so we've got that. And we'll have more coming up in just a couple of minutes. C6. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock solid countertops and more.
The other day, a man called saying my electric was way past due. He threatened to turn off my power if I didn't buy a gift card to pay the bill. I said, look, fella, I wasn't born yesterday. Gift cards are for gifts, not for paying bills, and I'm sure as heck not buying you a gift. So I hung up on the crook, and my lights never went out. Know the signs of scams, and leave scammers in the dust. If someone asks for a gift card as payment, it's likely a scam. A public service message from the Better Business Bureau.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or are covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
This is RightLine with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on RightLine. My name is Drew Steele. Big D's not here this week. He's got the week off, but the newsroom's there. Nina's in the breaking newsroom. And you hanging out with us at RightLine News on YouTube and X. We appreciate you being here with us this weekend. Coming up, the President of the United States and the press together. Part 2 of the White House Correspondents' Dinner at the Waldorf Astoria on Friday night. So we're going to play some select clips because it was selectively awesome in some ways. So we're going to get to that in just a bit. Also, we're going to have a conversation about, institutions of higher learning. Is that how they all talk? Higher learning. Can you imagine if your child went into school and he came out and he said, I'm now officially a communist? Because that's probably what would happen if they go to most universities, like Yale University, that is requiring something so crazy and ridiculous. I can't even believe it. But we're going to have a conversation coming up about that in just a bit. We had a chance to talk to our good friend over at good friends at Campus Reform, and we're going to get into some of what they have been doing, which is pretty unbelievable. So that's on the way. But first, let's get to some of what was taking place at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Can we play a couple of clips? Do you mind? I don't think you mind. Let's do that right now. So the president was making jokes about different situations, pretty harmless. We played this one a little while ago about Joe Biden.
Just remember, before I came along, if you wanted to see someone lose consciousness on the South Lawn of the White House, all you had to do is ask Joe Biden a question. Remember that. Oh, you think I'm kidding?
Okay, so there you have, you've got that. And then everybody thought, all right, so this is going to be nice and easy, nice and smooth with the president. No, not so much, because he was saving the best for later. Talked about this, the largest group of Trump derangement syndrome people ever put together at one time, and he's absolutely right about that. And then it got very interesting. So here's the president who was talking about CBS News, and well, listen.
While I have all of the press here in one place, I have to say that we're having an amazing load of accomplishments that the media never talks about. For example, under my administration, a once feared and powerful regime that relentlessly attacked America has finally been toppled. Their former leaders have been removed, and they're now being run by a gay dictator facing internal divisions. But I, for one, wish Barry Weiss all the best at CBS News.
Oh, no. And let's Oh my. So now let's just say that they didn't sound very excited about that when you could hear a pin drop. They weren't really taking the joke very well. Oh, we're so sorry. Well, it didn't get much better for some of the press or members of the press. Now it became time for Caitlin Collins. And this is just, and they panned the camera over to Caitlin. And so if you're watching at RightLine News on YouTube and X, get ready, because this is kind of one of those things where when the president does this, you laugh after the fact, but sometimes as it's going on, I just get like, it's kind of a little uncomfortable. And if you're listening across the country, just get ready. It's something else.
But they'll learn their lesson. But I want to personally congratulate CNN's Caitlin Collins on receiving her award. It was all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake, but I didn't mind. I said, Caitlin, congratulations.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
But it was fake. There's no question about it. But she's a young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, Caitlin, do you have a smile? Smile. You have a nice position. You're at CNN Fake News. You should be a happy person. So smile, Caitlin. Just smile. But we attack, and I thought Caitlin had really made it big with a major new sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can. It was Dylan Mulvaney.
I think I hurt my side. All right. Ow. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, no. So like I said, look, you invited, you didn't have other comedians there. You invited the president to speak. You kind of knew what was coming. And so is there one more that we can play? I mean, there was a lot there and some trolling, but there was also some fun at the expense of Democrats. And isn't it great when you can have fun at the expense of Democrats? Because everybody knows when they get into power, they're having fun, not making our life fun. So it's a interesting thing. Anyway, here's the point. President of the United States talking at the White House Correspondents' Dinner and joking about some in the press, and then making his way over to Democrats and one person that maybe he doesn't love so much.
Professional clown for entertainment. But Adam Shifty Schiff was not available. He's known, I called him, I hate some people. I shouldn't say this. I'm not supposed to hate. I'm supposed to love everybody. But he's a terrible person. He's a liar. And I called him Watermelon Head because he has the largest head I've ever seen with the smallest neck, pencil neck. How does that big, fat, ugly head stand on a little pencil?
I'm sorry. Now, okay. Let me just stop. All right. Now there are some of you who are laughing and are cringing and are like, oh. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the president of the United States understands that, look, as he's trolling and as he's joking and as he's wearing the Trump 2028 hat that you see if you're watching at RightLine News on YouTube and X, and he was talking about possibly and joking about running for a fourth term because he didn't lose the second time and the 31 and now, and trolling. That's what he does. But at the end of the day, and the president says,
it is a room. I have tremendous respect for the people in this room. Sometimes I don't feel you treat me fair, or maybe you do. I don't know. I don't feel that, but sometimes you treat me very fairly. And I have a lot of respect for your profession. Your profession's amazing. And I just want to thank you for having me, and it's been fun, and I've met a lot of great people. And, I used an expression, and I've used it right from the beginning. I did this for one reason, to make America great again, and that's what's happening right before your very eyes. We have made America great again, and it's going to get a lot greater. So thank you all very much. It's an honor to be with you. Thank you.
All right. So it was one of those situations where at the end, he's like, look, I have a lot of respect for you. I know a lot of you don't love me. A lot of you, maybe you do in some ways, and you report the way you report. But he understands the role of the press. He understands that he's going to push back against the press that has, let's just say, not exactly been fair to the president We can go through all the different times that the press went along with Democrats and things like the Trump-Russia collusion hoax and twice impeached and perfectly fine phone calls that were exactly that and suggesting it wasn't. And we know all of it, right? We know the deal. But just remember one thing that I mentioned before we started the program. Well, when we started the program, and I started talking about the president being at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and it's this. That the irony of all of it is that they talk about celebrating the First Amendment, but they're the first ones that would shut it down against the president of the United States the minute he was going to do a speech about a 2020 election that he felt was in a lot of ways rigged. And, you know, we're not going to relitigate this. It's like, hold on a second. Was it litigated the first time when we find out about the 200 million plus identities that were stolen by China and what they were doing when it came to the election in 2020 and the involvement and the fact that there was concerns about this and the intelligence community knew about the concerns and then decided to hide it from the president, never gave him the information. I mean, this is outrageous. So do you go out as soon as you hear this and do your journalism and investigate and find out about this? No, you blow it off like it's a lie, like it's no big. So spare us when you're talking about celebrating the First Amendment when you're not even helping in a lot of ways. Oh, and yeah, by the way, taking it off the networks. It's funny, the people that are sitting in the audience, the same people that wouldn't allow it to be out there, and then we're going to fact check it all after the fact. Okay, gotcha. What else do we have going on here at RightLine? Anytime you want to watch, at RightLine News on YouTube and X, we appreciate it. We are live Saturdays, 4 to 6 p.m., so even if you want to call, 866-588-8303, we have the phone number open. So I was talking about this week. We had a great conversation with Gregory Lykoff, who is with Campus Reform, because there was something that they were writing about with regards to Yale and requirements that they have that, look, education is how, and the educational process and the indoctrination of our kids, of the youths of America.
Did you say youths?
I did. That has allowed for the acceptance of a lot of the DEI, woke ideology, communism, Marxism, socialism that's been talked about now in the open with the Democrat Party. This is how it's allowed to get into the political bloodstream, if you will, is through the indoctrination of our kids in higher education. And so we had a conversation about what was going on at Yale, and I wanted Gregory Lykoff, who is with Campus Reform, to talk about exactly what it is that they're doing.
Yeah, Yale is requiring students who want to graduate from their drama department to take anti-racism and critical race theory courses. These are ideologies that teach students how to include social justice and activism in their work, rather than teaching students how to actually be good at the career that they're training for. We have seen this trend all over the country. Yale is just one of the many schools that are doing it, and it's ridiculous. We should have education for our careers, not for training students to become social justice activists.
Yeah, so like we kind of set up just a second ago, you know, where you think it's going away, it's not. Whether it is a change of a name, a change of a title with someone, but certainly to have it literally a requirement in the curriculum, it just screams like, I guess, come and get us. What are you going to do to stop us? It's crazy.
Yeah, it definitely is crazy, and especially for a theater program, a drama program that has absolutely nothing to do with racism. I would understand if this was an elective, if this was a class that people can take to maybe learn about an ideology, that would be one thing, but this is not what this is. This is a required course in a drama department. It has absolutely nothing to do with race, and the fact that they are trying to bring ideology and racial ideology into this just shows how politicized these universities have become. And look, this should come as no surprise. Campus Reform just covered a story at Michigan State University where the majority of students in a recent survey showed increasing support for DEI. This was over like 70% of the student body. When the student body is already indoctrinated to believe that DEI and these ideologies are okay, then they're going to be supportive of DEI classes and principles.
Yeah, a couple of things with this, Gregory. The first thing is the course offers vital strategies for the lifelong development of individual and communal anti-racist practice. This is a description that you have at Campus Reform in this article that you have, which is interesting because then somebody has to make the decision what is and isn't racist, right? So then you have the person who's going to make the accusation or the call on this, if you will. You wonder where their ideology lies. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is, what you just described, which I don't want to pass by as we're talking about this, and that is the students on campus, what they think and what they believe. And this is really where the trouble lies, is that how do we get through to them? Because if they agree with this in mass, if there are more people that agree with it than not, then how do we stop it, I guess, ultimately? How do we get it out?
Yeah, well, first off, it's important to mention that Yale is basically saying to these students that if you do not believe in this racial ideology that tells you that the system is oppressive and that the system is systemically racist, then you are racist yourself. That's why you can't graduate through their programs. That is telling students that they have to follow this ideology. Look, students go into college expecting to learn. They don't really come with a preset bias. Education is not inherently biased. It's only biased when institutions are left-leaning. And that's what we have seen here. So the best way to eradicate this bias is by making these institutions actually unbiased. And how do we do that? Well, we do that first by making sure that required courses, at the very minimum, don't include these racist ideologies that say that one race is being oppressive towards another race. That is just not true. And look, we have seen polls and surveys all over the country that basically say that the more educated a person is, the more left-leaning that person will become. And that's not necessarily because education is inherently liberal. It's because the bias in education is now liberal. And it's time we have to change that.
Right. Before we go, I might ask this. One of the things that I love about what you do there at Campus Reform, obviously, is exposing all of this. One of the things we have to remember is the exposing of all of these things that are happening on campuses helps, because at least you have people who can now make the conscious decision as to whether or not they want to go, as to whether or not this is something that they agree with. But then the other side of it is obviously the bigger picture, which is you see how much we lately are talking about Democrats, socialists, communism, all of these different things that are coming up. And it stands to reason that if we have a generation that feels like these policies and a lot of the things that connect to the Democrat socialists and those that want to disrupt have done this from the ground up, that you can see the existential, and I use that word, it's a big one, and I think I used it correctly, the threat that's out there, Gregory, when it comes to the future of our elections and who is going to be in power, not just in colleges, but even in government. This is what we're talking about. This is why it's so big, because now they can make the move. Before they maybe couldn't make the move, so to speak, when it comes to telling you exactly who they are. Now, when you have these young people going to college who agree with a lot of the ideology, that's where we have to be worried, and we've got to call it out.
Yeah, whether it's DEI, whether it's Democrat socialism, or any other leftist ideology, one trend remains clear, that they are incompatible with American principles, with the principles that have founded this country. And the reason why so many young people have been able to fall for these principles that are incompatible with America is because the left has begun to control our institutions that shape public thought, whether it be the media, whether it's college campuses. Institutions that shape public thought are now controlled by the left. And for as long as that is going to continue, we are going to see a common trend of the people who are influenced by those institutions to fall into the trap of these principles and these ideologies that are incompatible with America and seek to make America the very opposite thing from great. And it's something that will only continue until we reform these institutions, which is something that Campus Reform has been working to uncover.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we go, there it is. Tell everybody how they can find out more about you and find out more about Campus Reform.
Yeah, you can go on campusreform.org to read about all of the leftist bias on campuses. And look, the amount of money that is being wasted just from taxpayer dollars is something that everyone should know about. So go to campusreform.org. To follow me personally, you can go to my X account at Gregory Lykov.
There you go. All right, my friend. All the best. God bless. Great to see you again.
Thank you so much.
That is Gregory Lykoff doing a great job there with Campus Reform. Fantastic work that they do. And we appreciate a few minutes of his time here on RightLine. What else do we have going on? We got we got a whole bunch of things that are happening right now. Let's see. Speaking of elections, because that's what we kind of ended up with there in that conversation, some of the latest polling that many people have been talking about. I guess the latest poll from, who was it, McLaughlin, said that House Republicans gained in the 26th congressional ballot. There's like a 2-point gap with the Democrats. 46% Democrat, 44% Republican. And we're always told that this is going to be the norm, that when it comes to the midterms, it's always going to be this way for time immemorial, that you always have the presidency, whoever the party is in power. In the midterms, it's always going to flip. That's just the way it is. Just ask anybody who flips a lot. Like, I don't know.
I don't feel no ways tired.
That's not, where did that come from? I wasn't even thinking about her at all. Anyway, the point is that you've got now a race happening here, apparently, that it seems close. And maybe a lot of this is because of how Democrats have shown themselves as communist, Marxist, socialists. I don't know. Is that part of it? You've got Democrats, DNC, that committed to South Carolina as the first presidential primary voting state, beating out Nevada, however you say it. I don't know. Depends on where you live. And so that is going to be big for, certain people who were very upset that in the process, that even the discussion about it being in Nevada, however you say it, was a bad thing. A new statement from the Coalition of Latino Leaders on the DNC calendar said, quote, whoever seeks the Democratic nomination in 28 will need to prove to the Latino community that we are a priority and not just a demographic to be courted at the end of the cycle. And they went on to say a whole bunch more, and they sound like they're really, really upset. The choice of South Carolina as opposed to Nevada. And wow, what's going on here? And especially when you hear that announcement and they didn't say Latinx, which is kind of a cool thing. So maybe there's a little bit of change going on in the Democrat Party right? Yeah, I mean, is that still a thing? Are they still doing the Latinx thing, or was that just for a half a second and then they were like, never mind? I don't know. And then the week brought us some of the fun stories out there on the Democrat side, like the 2028 New Hampshire Democrat primary suggesting that AOC is leading at 22%, and at 21% is Mayor Pete. Everybody loves
Edge.
Yeah.
Edge.
Who doesn't love Mayor Pete? Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't love Mayor Pete. And AOC, I don't know, what does she think? She was asked about the poll and the suggestion that she would be number one in this poll.
There was a UNH poll that came out that had you surging in 2028. When you see that, what do you think?
So the reporter says, when you see that, what do you think? That wouldn't have been my question. My question would have been, that's crazy, isn't it? That's why I couldn't be a reporter.
I feel very, humbled by the support of everyday people. I think that...
Whoa. Hold on a second. We didn't say everyday people supported you. We said that the UNH in New Hampshire in the Democrat primary, we're saying that maybe the crazy leftists approve of you. We didn't say everyday. Hold on. Slow down a second there. Wait a minute.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
Hey, everybody watching at RightLine News on YouTube and X. I just wanted to let you know that we're in commercial break for radio. And when we come back, we've got the top 5 audio clips of the week. They are stellar. So I'm working them out right now. We'll get to that coming up in just a minute. So hang tight. We appreciate you hanging through the commercial breaks. And we'll be back in just a minute with more RightLine.
For our troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. And I never had much left because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go?
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a forever family and a permanent home of their own.
Now I have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing and make videos. But the best part knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to RightLine with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to check out the program after we're done, you can. The podcast, RightLine with Drew Steele, the podcast is out there, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, so you can check out RightLine in podcast form. You can also check out our weekday show. So we're also on Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. We are across the state of Florida, syndicated. So we're a Florida-based show. Florida's Voice is its name. And if you want to check out Florida's Voice, you can go to FL, like Florida, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Anytime you want to watch the program during the week. During the week, we do the top 5 audio clips of the day. Now, for RightLine, we do the top 5 audio clips of the week. Here we go. It's my top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
I also want to thank members of the NYPD for their quick response in apprehending the individual who was responsible for these 2 crimes. So I truly want to thank NYPD always. I also want to say that I had the opportunity to speak to the police commissioner as well as the local district attorney, and they have asked me not to draw any conclusions as a result of last night's event. And so
Last night's event. So that's New York Attorney General Letitia James. The event she was talking about was not a sporting event or any event like that. No, it was an event of a stabbing. That event. Yeah, a horrific stabbing that took place in New York. Jewish and New York leaders were giving an update on the stabbings at the time, and Letitia James wanted to let everybody know that, yes, we understand that, well, she didn't say this out loud, but everybody heard that the suspect was yelling Allahu Akbar during both attacks in New York City. A Good Samaritan helped police to find his hiding place and to get this suspect in custody. And they just want to let you know that even though there's a lot that everybody has heard and witnessed and the like, we just don't want you to jump to any conclusions as to why this possibly might have happened. Don't do that. Okay.
Number 4.
In the release of the records, which I'm afraid, I think in the media or legacy media, there was kind of a willful blindness. They didn't want to look at the records. All you had to do was spend a couple of hours. I found these records, which are talking about blackmail by China. It was for President Biden's daily brief. I can conclude, I think, that it was probably about targeting his family. When that kind of information is not reaching a decision maker, ultimately the United States and the American people are the losers. Right. And I think that's what people need to be focusing on.
Whoa. That's just one of the stories that we're going to bring up. I think we're going to be able to talk about this a little more. That was Catherine Harridge, investigative journalist, who was on News Nation, and she was talking about the shadow government and what was going on during the investigation into and the paperwork that was released by the President of the United States, the records that we found out about the intelligence community, about China, about the 2020 election. And she said, as she was perusing the paperwork, that she found evidence that Joe Biden's family was being blackmailed by China, shows the documentation, and the media was completely ignoring the evidence. The people in leadership were ignoring the evidence. The records were there. And she said all he had to do was spend a couple of hours finding the records about blackmail by China. And it was for the president's daily brief. And she was saying that it was ignored, buried by the FBI, the CIA, the media. Why? Was it all to keep Democrats in power? Is that what it was all about? I think that would be a logical conclusion to make from that, as terrible as that is.
Number 3.
To fight back against this fascist regime, we need to be in the streets, wisely using our wallets, battling in the courts, and winning at the ballot box, the center of our democracy.
Yeah, so in case you're wondering, the American Federation of Teachers and their organization, this union of teachers that just loves the country, just wants to teach students, is all about how we can talk as a unified group about the best ways that we can educate the children of the United States. Yeah, well, about that. The problem with that is that they're a bunch of leftists. And so they had a big organizational meeting, the American Federation of Teachers. And there was one socialist. How do I know? Because Solidarity right there with a Mayday book and a fist up on his T-shirt there. And so that was one of the socialist, Marxist, fascists, or whatever you want to call them. I know they call this regime fascist. They're talking about the president of the United States. So that's the president of the California Teachers Union. Said we need to be in the streets to fight back against the fascist regime. Well, he's wearing a Solidarity is the lesson plan of Mayday, showing there in the book. So if you're like Randy Weingarten and the Teachers Union, so is it one of those things where it's not political at all? It's just about the kids? No, it's all about the politics. That's what it's about. And let's just say it's not the kind of politics that I like. It's
Number 2.
Realities of the right are more reactive to fear and disgust than the left. It gets into deeper stuff, but one thing is they identify scapegoats and villains really quickly. Some of their arguments are just better in these platforms. Like, to go to some other examples that I talk about in the book. If I just go, listen, it's your money. Taxes are theft and we need tax relief. That's a really tidy and efficient argument, right? And if I come in as the guy on the left, I don't go, no, taxes are awesome and raise them as high as possible. I have to go, listen, if you want to live in a society with basic infrastructure, the only way to do it is through the collection of taxes by the government. Is it sort of coercive? Well, in a sense, but it's which one of those is going to do better? Of course, they're stealing your money. It's yours. You should get to keep it. That's structural to their argument. On abortion, there's a similar analogy. Murdering babies is bad. Abortion's murder. That's it. We're not doing it. And we on the left, at least I've never met anyone who goes, abortion's awesome. Let's look to increase the number of abortions. We say there's a lot of competing factors here, and we have to talk about bodily autonomy. And it's not going to translate it never translated as well to the rage of AM radio, and it doesn't work as well in the algorithms. It's structural. Now, I don't think it's inevitable that the left has to lose on it. We have to rethink the entry point into a lot of these issues.
Rethink the entry point? Like, lie about it? Is that what you're suggesting? So that's a dude, I don't know who it was, on Gavin Newsom's podcast. I didn't even know he had a podcast, but apparently he does. And so he's on the podcast with this dude, and they're talking about, I guess, how to message raising your taxes and how to message the killing of babies. Abortion. That's what it is. And instead of thinking to yourself, wow, I guess they have a point because it's pretty straightforward when it comes to raising of taxes. Why don't you cut your spending and be fiscally responsible with our tax dollars? And maybe that's how you do things. And when it comes to the killing of babies, maybe don't do it. They're coming to the conclusion that, look, if we've got to message this and the algorithms and how it's being picked up on social media, well, maybe the only way we're going to get through to people through the algorithms is to make the message pointed and get to the point, which means you're going to have to lie about it. So is that what you're going to do? You're going to start lying about your position so that you can make your point? I'm not really sure I understand it.
Number 1.
But they'll learn their lesson. But I want to personally congratulate CNN's Caitlin Collins on receiving her award, it was all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake, but I didn't mind. I said, Caitlin, congratulations. But it was fake. There's no question about it. But she's a young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, Caitlin, do you ever smile? Smile. You have a nice position. You're at CNN Fake News. You should be a happy person. So smile, Caitlin. Just smile. But we attack, and I thought Caitlin had really made it big with a major new sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can. It was Dylan Mulvaney.
Sorry, it's not all right. So if you're wondering exactly how the White House Correspondents' Dinner went on Friday night, and you're like, hey, how was Trump? Was he good? I don't know. You tell me.
Drew's Top 5.
That was pretty good. Oh, my. So we played a bunch of clips. By the way, if you want to revisit some of the clips that took place on Friday night in the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you can check out the podcast, RightLine with Drew Steele. Just go Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get it, and you can revisit. Or you can go to RightLine on YouTube or X, and you can revisit, watch the show once again, and you can see it all unfold before your very eyes. Wow, that was something else. All right, what else do we have going on here? I know a lot. This week, the President of the United States made it known that Canada did it again. I don't know what's going on with Canada, but I guess it's because they've got leadership in Canada right now. That is very leftist. It's a weird thing what happens. There was a time there when they were very conservative and things were great and beautiful and friendships and loving and, hey, we love beer and maple syrup and hockey. And then all of a sudden, it's like you got these leftists that are running the place now, and it's really woke and really strange. And now all of a sudden, well, we still like maple syrup and we still like beer. And the hockey's pretty cool. It's like soccer. It sticks. Canada disinvited the United States of America the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge, which is fine considering they're paying substantial tariffs to the United States. But the original deal on the bridge, which was terribly negotiated by a previous administration, no longer stands. We changed the terms of the deal so that the U.S. will now get 50% of the profit. Thank you for the attention to this matter from the president. That was on Truth Social just the other day because they opened up the Gordie Howe Bridge, as you heard the president talk about, and it goes from Canada to Detroit. And I guess a lot of our dignitaries from the United States were disinvited by the prime minister. Like they didn't want us to be any part of or having any part of the opening of this bridge, even though as the president was talking about the negotiations that we made, this country, to help out to make that bridge happen. But it's okay because ultimately they got it together. Well, they didn't invite us or anything. They just, apologized for the land it was on and sang some songs. So good.
We're going to sing a song. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand in honor of our ancestors.
Okay, never mind. You can have the bridge. Just take the bridge. Just take it. Just take the bridge. You can have it. It's okay. We don't need the money. We're fine. We're doing just fine, everybody. So for some reason, that's what happens. The Gordie Howe Bridge opens up. It goes from Canada over to Detroit, and it's a big, beautiful thing, although we can't be invited to be part of the opening ceremony. And then Canada starts the whole procession by making sure they apologize for the land that was stolen, and then they sing a song about it, and hopefully that makes everything all better. I don't really know what it is. So let's just not worry about it and maybe move on from here. Yes, we should move on. Do we have enough time to play any more clips, or we're going to break? Yeah, I guess we're heading into break. All right, so we'll put a bow on this show coming up. We have plenty to discuss, including what we didn't get a chance to talk about before.
Buttigieg.
Oh, you want to? Okay.
Buttigieg.
You want to hear about Pete Buttigieg? Is that it? Well, I mean, the newsroom wants me to play it. That's what that was all about. All right, so when we come back, Pete Buttigieg was being asked about the socialists, the communists, the Marxists, and the Democrat Party. I mean, if he is like this close, my fingers are thinly spread apart right now, to being the nominee in 2028 for president of the United States, I wonder what he thinks about where the party's going. So we'll talk about the party that's not really a party, but it's a party that's being taken over by a group to change the party. So that's coming up, among other things. We put a bow on the show next. at RightLine News on YouTube and X. My name is Drew Steele, and this is RightLine.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans, but many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
We weren't sure adoption would happen for us, but when it did, it happened threefold.
Mary and her husband first met their 3 children when they became their foster parents. Little did they know that their house would become the siblings' forever home.
We had to help them adjust to the idea that they wouldn't have to leave. Children in foster care have lived and survived so much. We had to help them process their trauma. And now to hear our children say that they know they have a mother and father who take care of us, teach us, and love us means everything.
The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is committed to finding safe, permanent homes for the longest waiting children in foster care.
I not only love these kids, I am just so proud of them.
You can help. Visit davethomasfoundation.org.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little you are, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Bella, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on J&C Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? You're looking for countertops, backsplash? You know where to go. Rock Solid, J&C Boulevard in Naples.
Now, back to RightLine with Drew Steele.
It was funny to think that our dinosaur was sitting up in the canyon up there.
Sounds pretty planned out. Missed the cameras, bolted back down. Grand theft dino.
They literally had to unbolt it from a cement pad out here, and they rebolted it up on the cliff.
I mean, I think it's all in good fun. I don't think the people mean to cause any harm.
Yeah, well, they stole something, so that's a harm. So a nearly 300-pound Sinclair dinosaur, and for those on the East Coast that don't know, on the West Coast, and I know this because I lived in Salt Lake City for a year, they have a gas station that's Sinclair, and the dinosaur is the mascot, I guess you would say. And so there's a 300-pound Sinclair dinosaur that was stolen from a Montana gas station. They stole it, and they found that the next day it was bolted to a cliff 10 miles away near Yellowstone. And those are the employees that were like, dude, it's pretty funny. I don't know if it's funny. Well, I mean, it's mildly funny. But the question becomes, how do you move a 300-pound dinosaur and nobody sees it? Because how's that possible? Even in the middle of the night, you would see a dinosaur. Well, I mean, maybe not. I don't know. It's just one of those stories where you think, exactly, how did that happen? And then how did they bolt it? How did they get it to the cliff? A lot of questions. Aliens, that's what I think. Maybe we just had an alien take over the, whatever. All right. The newsroom's like, get out. All right, I'm out. That's it. We didn't get a chance to talk about this quickly. An activist judge, here we go again, blocking the president from requiring proof of citizenship and mail-in voting tracking for the 26 midterms across a whole bunch of blue states. So you got judges that are signing with voter fraud. Is that what's going on here? They're okay with that? This is another reason why we need the Save America Act passed, please. We talked about it as we opened the show. We've got the Senate getting ready to go on recess. Can we get this done before you go? Your constituents would be really happy if you can make this happen. And even some leftists might come up to you and say, hey, I like what you did there. Seriously, because they're cool with it too. Voter identification and proof of citizenship. Pretty good idea. And there are some who don't believe it's a good idea. Some who would like to fundamentally change the country. And I'm not just talking about former administrations and presidents. And
so what are you saying?
I'm saying that you were the one who said fundamentally change the country, and we know where you were going with that. And I don't even think in a million years you thought the party would go where it's going right now. And
Shut up.
Okay, never mind. So anyway, here is Pete Buttigieg, who is on Fox News. And
Buttigieg.
Yeah, I know.
Buttigieg.
The newsroom loves when we play the Buttigieg. Here is Mayor Pete, who is being asked.
But before you go, I mean, has this socialist wave? I mean, you're sitting in New York City. We've got a socialist mayor in New York City, Zohran Mamdani. Is it gone too far, do you believe?
Yeah, I'd like to get your answer on this. Has it gone too far? The whole Democrat, socialist, Marxist, communist thing that's been happening? You know where he's going with this.
Look, there's always going to be some people in my party who go too far for me, people I disagree with. If you picked the 5 or 10 or 15 furthest left people in our party, they're going to, by definition, disagree with a lot of others. But there's so much that we do, in fact, agree on. And
there's so much that you do, in fact, agree on. So even though they're all the way to the far left and there's only a handful of people that agree with them, there's a lot of things that let's see, what are the things that you agree with?
I think one of the reasons why you see people who run on a promise of shaking it up, whether it's
No. Tell me, what are the things that you agree on?
The SA candidate on the left, or whether it's someone like Donald Trump, is because people can tell that the system we have is not just showing its age, it's letting us down.
No, it's not letting us down. You're letting us. See, the system as it is, 250 years young, has been fantastic. It's great. It's people like you and your party that mess it all up. And you also didn't answer the question. Like, what do you have in common? So that was quite the pivot. So if Pete Buttigieg is not going to give you the left Democrat socialist talking point, then really, is he going to win the the 2028 nomination? I doubt it. All right. We'll see ya.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. So check before you jet. Avoid delays at TSA security checkpoints by making sure you have an acceptable form of ID. That means a real ID, passport, or other acceptable forms of identification.
Visit tsa.gov/ID to check the full list of acceptable IDs. Avoid travel delays by checking ID requirements, and you're good to go.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
All right, just want to say thanks to everybody who is hanging out with us right now and watching at RightLine News on YouTube and X. Thank you so much for making this program a part of your day over the weekend, bringing you breaking news and more. So glad that you had an opportunity to hang out. Don't forget, we do it each and every week, live Saturdays, 4 to 6 p.m. And if you want to check out the weekday show, we do a show Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. called Florida's Voice. And you can check it out at FL, like Florida, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. We do national stories, and we sprinkle in some Florida stories as well. So we would love to have you watch as well. Looking forward to the next time we get together. We will see you next week.